Yes, bank balance as of
Can I accept it?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, minutes accepted?
Okay.
Yeah.
the month of February is $5,652.91.
You do? How many have anything?
I have nothing as far as to say. I'd just like to add on that when you have anything to say, when you raise your hand, please stand up, state your name, state where you're from or where you live, okay, the organization you belong to. Also, if the chair recognizes somebody at the floor and they're talking, please don't interrupt them, or you're going to be called out of order and then eventually asked to leave, okay? So let's try to keep it orderly. All right, it got a little bit out of hand last month, and this way here everybody gets their say in, okay?
Thank you. Okay, good evening everyone and welcome. From now on, as you know, our meetings are going to be held on the first Wednesday of every month. And that's the way they're going to stay. We have new dates up front. Take one. If you haven't got one already, please take one when you're leaving. And let's see. Don't forget our meetings are videoed. If you have anything of a private nature, I'll always be here after the meeting to speak to you. If we have anybody here that hasn't given us their email, we have forms up front. Fill one out and give it back to Cookie before you leave. This way, we'll be able to get in touch with you if need be for anything important. Okay, we have a couple of guests tonight, and first up we have Deputy Inspector Nemoyton from Chief Philip Banks' office, One Police Plaza Community Affairs.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. I just want to say I come here. Chief Banks is very community-oriented, thus being the Chief of Community Affairs. He thinks very highly of the community councils. It's very important to him. This is a great avenue for you to meet the commanding officer and discuss issues, find out what's going on in the community, on your mind. And there's really no better way to do this than face-to-face coming here. So this looks like a great turnout, and we would hope that someday it could just more and more of your community neighbors could come down. So really, if you get the word out to your neighbors and friends about community councils, we appreciate it. We also now want to talk about some of the things we're doing besides the face-to-face. As you know, the social media, the networks, the internet is the way people communicate. So we're also moving in that direction. And we have for a while, we have a community affairs web pages on the NYPD site. So if you go to the NYPD site, you could Google NYPD, or you could go to www.newyorkcity.gov/NYPD and click on Community Affairs. One of the things I do is I oversee that, and we try to maintain that with up-to-date information. We have monthly newsletters that we send out. We print them. They're available on the web pages. And we also have crime prevention information. So things that we discuss, burglary tips, safety with your iPhones, how to protect your there's an app that is out there for finding your iPhone and you can also use it for Google Apps also. We have that information. We try to supply it, direct you to the knowledge that can help you, for your safety, personal and also, in your businesses. So that's out there. We also have a way that you can communicate to the Community Affairs Bureau through emailing us, and that's through New York City, communityaffairs@nypd.org. That's a email address that people can now email with questions, and we have a person that's working Monday to Friday from possibly like 6, all day long, and then we'll get back to you with information. So we have a tremendous positive result with that. A lot of people are very happy. Sometimes we've heard in the past, we listen to community's concerns. We've heard in the past, how we call, we ring a phone, we don't get an answer, we try to get an answer. If you email us, we will get back to you. So we represent the department and we work citywide. So we get questions from everywhere from, Astoria to Staten Island to Manhattan to the Bronx, and we handle all of the questions. I was recently, just to give you a little background on myself, I started in the 9-4 precinct 30 years ago. That was the first place I worked. At that time, it was with the 9-0 and the 8-3. You worked in 3 precincts, worked together. I remember being here. It's great to be back here, actually. And I know it's a great community. It's a strong community with a lot of history. So to keep it that way, you got to be involved. Community, we can't do it alone. The precinct, the police, we have to work in partnership. So that's why if we email you, you're going to see in partnership with the community we do things, and we're always going to have a member, that note to visit us at our website. We're trying to get that message out. Recently, I was in charge of the crime prevention section, and in December, I got moved over to this new unit, Juvenile Justice Division. And one of the things I oversee are the Explorers and the youth programs that we have. I know we have the Explorers here that are going to have some time, so I don't want to take too much time. But we're looking at the social media as it affects juveniles and crime, and that's one of the things we're doing. And I'd like to give you a message that if you have your kids out there or even yourselves, you got to know that whatever you put on that internet, it's a document and it's tracked and it's saved forever. And you got to be careful. And if your kids think they're just going on and putting on a face, they don't realize what the background looks like. They may be standing in front of a place they don't want to be, or it'll identify something, or you say a word that offends somebody, and the next thing there's trouble, the offense. And a lot of kids have problems and fights break out in schools because of what they put on the internet. So I know you talked about bullying last year, and some of that last month, I'm sorry. Some of this is affecting through the internet communication, social media. So you got to be careful what you post with these accounts. Everything is pretty much out there for people to see. Nothing is private. And again, I think this is a great community. I thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time, and I'll be around here if anybody has any questions. I'm going to stick around all night. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.